Welcome to the Uplevel Dairy Podcast. I'm your host, Peggy Coffeen, and today we are on site at Pagel's Ponderosa Dairy near Casco, Wisconsin. And you'll be hearing from Chris Szydel today on some of the technologies that are moving this dairy forward right here on the Uplevel Dairy Podcast. This is the podcast for dairy farm owners, managers, and advisors who are committed to profitability, sustainability, and excellence. And this is part of our High Performance Mindset series powered by Nedap. Nedap is future-proofing dairy farms by revolutionizing technologies in activity monitoring, cow locating, milk metering, and identification. And with that, Chris, welcome to the Uplevel Dairy Podcast.
Thank you, Peggy. My name is Chris Szydel. I'm the herd manager for Pagel's Ponderosa Dairy. This is a fourth generation dairy farm. I've been here for 29 years on the dairy. Started here when we were milking about 350 cows, and today we're milking 5,400 cows on the main site here, and then we have a satellite farm about 5 miles south. We're milking another 900 cows on that facility.
So from 350 cows, 30 years ago when you started here?
Yes.
So you have grown, the dairy has grown, and so has the use of technology along the way.
Yes.
And that's really become something that not just Pagels are known for, but really, Chris, that you are known for as a leader in that space.
Yes, we enjoy utilizing the technology that we have. There's a lot of great technology that as we grow, we're able to utilize the technology and better take care of the animals and take care of the animals in a more timely fashion. So we can use the technology to identify the animals, separate them, and give them the attention they need. And we can do that around the clock, 24 hours a day.
So what are some of the technologies that you are implementing here that help you deliver on that?
So we have multiple technologies on the farm that we're working with. We'll start with DairyComp and Valley Ag software. That program helps keep track of all the data for the cows from when they're born all the way through their adulthood as a milking cow. And we can go back into the history, take a look at any of the previous data on those cows. Connected to that is Parlor Boss. So Parlor Boss is technology that we use on our rotary parlor to identify the cows that need attention every day. So it's a platform-based setup with a TV set, and that's connected to DairyComp. So the system is automated to let us know what attention the cows need on a daily basis. The cow number shows up, what attention she needs, and we're able to take care of the cows efficiently when they're on the wheel. And so that reduced the amount of headlocks that we're using in the barn. So when the cows come back and they're done being milked, it's less touches on the cow. She can go back and be a cow in the pen, eat, drink, walk around, lay down, and be a cow. Along with that is going to be the Nedap system and working with Alta. So the collar system is connected and talking with DairyComp. So the systems are all working together and dumping all the data into the main DairyComp system. And then DairyComp is set up on a scheduler and it's automated. So we get the real-time data to be able to take care of the cows. The Nedap system is doing a great job of identifying cows that need attention, identifying cows that are in heat, and also taking a look at herd performance and different records. We also utilize a sort gate through the Nedap system where if there is a cow that needs additional attention after she steps off the wheel, we can separate the cow, and then it's kind of like I said this years ago, the iPass system where you're going through Chicago and you get a lot of cars going through and a lot of the cars can pass, but if you got to pull off to the side and go through the toll booth, it doesn't slow down the rest of the traffic. So having the sort gates helps us work with the cows we need without disrupting the rest of the herd. Another technology is VES-RTEX, and that is a computer program to monitor and control the temperatures in the barns. So keeping the cows cool, especially like today when it's warm outside, we want to make sure we're keeping the cows in a nice, cool environment. So the system can turn fans on, adjust the speeds of the fans, turn fans off. It also records the data to let us know where the temperatures are inside the barns. And there's also controls on there. If a rainstorm comes in, we can turn certain fans off so we're not pulling moisture in the barns. It also controls the curtains on the barn, so I don't need to go outside and adjust curtains up and down. Having that technology really helps us stay in the best environment possible for the cows, because otherwise we tend to get busy, and if we don't have that technology, it takes a while to turn fans on, turn fans off, and we want to make sure that we're adjusting the environment for the cow as soon as possible versus having to wait an hour or two.
Yeah, so Chris, as you outline these different technologies that have been implemented here at the dairy, everything from collecting that data to being able to take action based on what it's telling you, integrating that with the sort gate, and even the ability to control the environment in the barns. Really, it's how all of these pieces of the puzzle work together that allow you to focus on the care of the animal, number one, that cow care side, but also to do it in a way that's efficient.
Yes. Taking care of the animals here is our top priority. We want to make sure that we're doing the best we can. And with new additional technology coming out, we want to take a look at the technology, see what it can offer, and then what the benefits are for the cows. We also want to challenge these systems. So with the investment, we're taking a look at what the system can do, but then working with Nedap on what's the next level we can take the system to. If there's new ideas that come out, and what can we do to make tomorrow better than today for the cows.
Yeah, and so as you talk about that first piece of what you just shared, Chris, and that was looking at what's the technology that's out there and what are the benefits of it, and then also what's the next level that you can push that to. That brings us back to what we're focusing on today specifically with technology, and that's the L2 Cow Watch that's powered by Nedap.
Yes.
And so that is not a technology necessarily new to some of the other sites that are part of Pagel family businesses. However, there were some features and benefits of their newest program that really appealed to you, that attracted you to wanting that right here at Pagel's Ponderosa Dairy.
Yes. So Nedap had come out with a new updated program, and there's a lot of new features on there. And one of them is with multiple sites that we have within Pagel family business. There's 5 different milking facilities, and having Nedap to be able to oversee all those facilities. If there's cows on this facility versus cows at Dairy Dreams or cows at Daybreak, we can keep track of the information. And also when we're putting together reports, we can compare the dairies side by side on the reports and take a look at a dairy there might be something a little bit different on that dairy compared to another dairy. So it helps us dig into data a little bit more and see what's going on and do some fine tuning.
Yeah, so as you share that, Chris, has there been anything that's really stood out to you, or a big gain or a big win in your mind with this ability you have now to look at data that is on the same level, from the same systems among the multi-sites of the business?
Yes, so different facilities have different barns and different environments. So if there's one facility that's doing a little bit better than the rest, then we can take a look at the data and compare farm A to farm B and say, well, farm A might be up a little bit more on milk production, or rumination's a little bit higher, or there's less heat stress. So is there something we can do to farm B that would help that farm A is doing better, and we can use the data to look at that and make some changes on farm B, for example.
So essentially you're doing your own benchmarking within your system.
Yes, that is correct.
Anything that really stands out as an example of a real story of like, hey, here's a time when you've seen that data, and here's the action that you and your team took to catch up to the benchmark another dairy had set?
So the first part is having all the cows in one system but on different sites. So we're moving animals back and forth or in between sites. So let's say, for example, one of my employees, we're moving a cow, but she doesn't get put in the computer system. Nedap's able to allow us to find out which site that cow is by, and then I can say, well, this cow is by a different dairy, and she, didn't get the data entries, but we can track her down and find out where she's at. We can also take a look at health events. Right now, with summertime, we're looking at heat stress. So working with the Alta team and the Nedap team, we're going to take a look at heat stress between the different farms and where the cows are comfortable, and then where we can do some improvements.
Wow, were you able to do this before?
It was using multiple platforms before, so we'd have to open up multiple sites. And this is where having everything on one platform really helps us, streamlines the data a lot better versus having to open one app and then go to a different app. it takes longer to pull the data from two different sites.
So when we go back to core values and focus, cow care number one, but also efficiency is important around here too. This has been a game changer for you.
Yes, and efficiency is another key for us on the management side. We want to make sure that we're efficient, and then it helps us with the return of investment with the systems too, because with the technology that we're using, it takes less labor out in the barns, cow side, so that helps us out on the labor efficiency.
And going off of that labor efficiency, and also focusing again on that cow care side, you mentioned earlier that another technology you've implemented here it's the Smart Sort Gate that's also powered by Nedap. Tell us a little bit about that piece of the puzzle.
So the Sort Gate we put in, probably 4 months ago, maybe 5, and it was the third system in the world put in. It was the first one in the US. And Nedap brought their team out from the Netherlands to come out here and make sure that the system is up and running and dial in the performance of it. And the system is working great. We're just under 100% on compliance, I would say. The system is low on maintenance, very little, if any, issues with the system. And it's reliable every day for our team to be able to do their job, because if we got to go back out in the pens to look for cows or find cows, we lose time, and we want to make sure the cow gets the best care possible. So by separating the cows, it allows us to be able to work on our efficiencies, and then the guys aren't walking in the pens looking for somebody. So the Sort Gate's a huge benefit for us, and it's doing a great job on separating the cows.
And to your point, some of the most important aspects you were looking for in that piece of technology was it's got to be reliable, and it's got to be accurate. It has to get the job done. Otherwise, it creates more work for your team.
It does. So anytime we miss a cow, and it's not that often, that the system's working really well. It just takes extra labor to go out and find an animal and get the attention that she needs. The other thing too is cow friendly. So the way that the system is designed, the cow flow is really good, and when the Sort Gate opens and closes, it doesn't scare the cows or slow them down or disrupt cow flow at all. So the ease of traffic, it just makes things run really smooth.
It keeps that toll booth running through.
Keeps it going, yep.
So for someone that is listening to this or watching this conversation that we're having today, and they're trying to picture in their mind what this looks like, this integrated system from the parlor to the Sort Gate, how would you explain it?
So the cows are walking off the wheel and they're going into the return lane, and then we put plastic up in the return lane just to help with cow flow, because cows keep moving, I should say, when they're walking through a tunnel. Otherwise, if they got a bigger area to see, they're going to stop and they're going to look around. So the first thing we did was put plastic up to just keep our cow flow moving at a decent pace. And then the Sort Gate has a little bit of an angle to it, so it slows down the cows a little bit, so that way they don't run through the system. It's almost like a little S curve, for example, or a C curve that the cows go through, just so they're not running through the Sort Gate area. And the reader will identify the cow by the collar that's on her, and then the gate's going to open up and separate the cow.
So that makes it pretty easy for your crew to be able to
it does.
Treat the cows that need it,
give
them attention.
The guys love the system. And years ago, we were working with cows in the headlocks and going off a paper list, and technology today where we have technology that can identify the cows, sort the cows. Our guys are able to give the cows more attention because they're walking less to try to find a cow. It just streamlines the whole system. And then the rest of the herd, if we're only separating the cows we need, so if we don't need the cows, the rest of the herd, they can just go back to the pens and be a cow.
So it's been an incredible win for your team.
Yes.
From the efficiency side and that cow care side. But let's bring that back around to what you shared before, Chris, and that is the multiple types of technology that you've implemented here, that now you have this whole suite of data.
Yes.
Yeah. So what does that empower you and your team to do?
Along with the technology comes a lot of data, but then we want to focus on, there's a lot of data there, but we have key areas that we're focusing on to, that we look at on a daily basis, a weekly basis, and a monthly basis for the cows. And just take a look and see if there's any trends even a simple feed change for the cows. Is rumination going up? Is it going down? Weather changes, how are the cows doing? Along with that is compliance. So having these systems and having compliance to me is key. We want to make sure that every cow gets the attention she needs every day, and the Nedap system helped build compliance lists for us to make sure that the cows got bred that day, the cows that were high attention got looked at that day, and then it'll actually create a list. If there was a cow that didn't get data entry done, then she's going to print off on the computer list and let us know that we got one more cow that we need to look for and make sure that she gets the attention. So compliance also helps us make sure that we're doing the best that we can for the herd.
So on a day-to-day basis, this has been a great needle mover for you as far as being able to be in compliance and track that compliance for the individual animal and look at trends. And as you mentioned a little bit earlier, with even just being able to benchmark the trends between multiple sites now. But let's take an even broader view. What do you believe will be possible a year from now or a couple of years from now when you have this whole history of data and trends? What do you think might be possible for you to discover, to uncover, and to continue to move the needle on?
That's a good question. And the technology companies that are out there, even in the last 5 to 6 years, has really progressed. And what we're doing today, some of the things we weren't doing a year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So we try to push the systems that we have to take them to the next level and work with the companies and get the biggest thing too, I should say, is making sure we have support. So a lot of the companies that we do work with is when we make that decision to invest in the technology is make sure that we have the support to run the system, maintain it, and also take it to the next level. And Nedap's doing a great job helping us with that.
Yeah, so the sky is the limit on what's possible.
Yes.
That's an exciting thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's definitely something that attracted you to this system, was just that support and the possibilities as well. But anytime we talk with dairy producers about implementing something new and making an investment, we always also had to look at the ROI.
Yes.
And have you, at this point, been able to measure that ROI or get a good gut read on what the payback of this system has been and could be?
So I don't have the exact numbers on the return of investment, but we take a look at the things that we're doing on a daily basis with catching the cows in heat sooner, getting those cows bred back sooner, finding the cows that need attention. So every day that we can utilize the system to take care of the cows is going to be that return of investment. And then helping pull the data to look at how the herd is running. Also take a look at hormone cost and medicine cost. So before we had a collar system here, we could benchmark through our pharmaceutical company on how much medicine, either hormone shots or antibiotics that we were using in a year's time. And we can take a look at where the collar systems are now and see the difference in how much we're saving on that. And there's a big difference there. So anytime that we can find the cows in heat, get her bred back sooner, we're not putting hormones into those cows, and then getting a cow's attention sooner, those cows can stay in the herd longer, and so it reduces color rates, it reduces death loss. So there's a lot of different ways that we're able to save money and take advantage of the return of income on that. Or return of investment, sorry.
So even just a few months in, what I'm hearing from you is you're really confident in this investment.
Yes, the system hands down will pay for itself relatively quickly. I don't have the exact numbers, but we take a look at labor, cow health, reproduction, medicine. It all adds up to paying for that system.
So once again, you take that and you put it with the other pieces of the technology puzzle that are all coming together here at Pagel's Ponderosa Dairy, and just look at what you're able to do, what your team here is able to do with cows every day from a cow health standpoint and cow care, efficiency, also cost savings, which is important as well. Anything else that really stands out in your mind, Chris, as a positive experience?
The other thing that comes to mind is having the technology and then being able to understand it and utilize it. So making sure that it's employee friendly. So Nedap's done a great job with training our employee, help answer questions, and we even use the WhatsApp on our phone that if there is something that stands out, we can communicate with Nedap and say we're having an issue with this, and we got the support. So the guys like the friendly system. It's working well. It's easy for them to understand, and it makes their jobs easier. I once asked them, I said, would you like to use the computer today, or do you want to go back to the paper list? And they're like, why would you make me go back to paper? So the team really likes using the computer system, and then the checks and balances too. So when we're using the tablets and we got the wand, we can scan the cow. That lets us know that cow got the attention that she needed. The guys scanned her, and so the guys are utilizing that, and we can put data entry in cow side too. So it's cutting down on data entry going back into the office, that we can use a tablet, breed a cow outside, and then type that information in, and then all we got to do is push send at the end of the morning, and all that data is right in the computer system.
And Chris, you just touched on something really important, and that I know is a high value here at Pagel's Ponderosa Dairy, and that's your team, your people, and
Yes.
making sure that anything that's implemented as a change is not just good for the cows and the other things we talked about, but ultimately that it's good for their day-to-day. It makes their job easier.
It does.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this was a win for your people as much as it has been the cows?
That is correct, yes. We're happy with all the systems, and then all the systems talking to each other. So everything is going through DairyComp, and we talked a little bit before about opening different platforms and apps, and having everything go into one system really cuts down on time for the guys. It just, everything is on one list, and they're able to grab that computer, refresh it, and then go back outside and take care of the animals. So it saves them time on trying to open one app and close another and stuff like that.
So when you really think about, Chris, where you're at right now, you and your team, with the ability to do so much with a cow in such little time and with so few touches, because of this integrated system, all the way from data collection through the parlor, through the sort gate, and the action steps you're able to take from there. Isn't it something how far in your 30-year time here that has come from back in the day when you were running around with the clipboard and probably spend a little more time on your feet?
Yes.
And so you think about where you've come from in 30 years. Let's switch over to where could the future be? When you really think about that future of technology in the dairy industry, 10 years from now, what do you think you'll be doing then?
I don't know if we're going to be doing the same things today as we are 10 years from now. We're looking forward to the technology down the road. I mean, even in the last 5 to 6 years, there's so much great technology where it's a whole new herd in operation, that the way that we manage cows here on the farm by utilizing the technology. And I mean, I don't have the answers now, but the future 10 years down the road, it looks exciting, the way that everything keeps progressing in the industry.
So if you could wave a magic wand and create some solution to a problem or an inefficiency that you still bump into on a regular basis, and some sort of magic technology could take care of it, what would that be?
Well, for example, here in the feed alley, making sure, feed push-ups. So cow movers moving cows to the parlor, automation to clean the pens and scrape the pens more often. Things like that would help us out on efficiencies. And if we had technology that could take care of the labor portion of like scraping and pushing feed would be great.
So that's the next level of what would make technology even more applicable, efficient, and valuable at dairies, this dairy and others.
Yep. And then also, we're a 5,400 cow dairy, taking a look at cow efficiency in the future too, not on a herd basis or a pen basis, but on an individual cow basis. If there's a way to figure out how much feed an individual cow is eating, we can make better decisions on that cow and take a look at genetics, and to make a more efficient cow that she's eating less feed, producing more milk. And I think that there would be some some pretty cool stuff with that in the future.
Well, that sure would be cool, wouldn't it? Imagine if you can integrate all of that feed efficiency data into what you're doing as well.
Yes, that would help fine-tune on the decisions that we're making on cows.
Yes, and to continue to dial in even more on the progress that you've already made. And Chris, as we wrap up our time together here today, when you really look at the Alta Cow Watch and the Sort Gate that are powered by Nedap and the ability that those technologies have been able to bring to this dairy, would you recommend those type of technologies or a combination of to other dairy producers out there?
Yes, we get great support with the Nedap system and also with the Sort Gate. We take a look at what the system offers and how the system's running on a daily basis, and then the efficiencies of it, and there's minimal breakdowns, if any, with the system. The Sort Gate is doing a great job on separating the cows that we need, and the system's doing a great job of identifying the cows that we need for the day, so it makes our jobs easier on the farm by utilizing the system and this technology, and yeah, it's fun to work with.
Yeah, well, excellent, Chris, and thank you for sharing the advancements that you brought into Pagel's Ponderosa Dairy here and how that has led to even greater emphasis and ability to act on individual cow care every single day, improved efficiencies, and also the ability to make the jobs easier for the most important people here on your team so that they show up to work every day and are empowered to do their jobs at an even higher level. This Uplevel Dairy podcast is part of the High Performance Mindset series powered by Nedap. Nedap is future-proofing dairy farms by revolutionizing cow locating, milk metering, activity monitoring, and identification. And to learn more about Nedap, make sure to check those links in our show notes. And thank you again, Chris, for joining me here on the Uplevel Dairy podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Uplevel Dairy Podcast. I'm your host, Peggy Coffeen, and if you like what you heard today, go ahead and head on over to upleveldairy.com to read the blog and join the Uplevel Dairy email list so you can receive new podcasts, blogs, and special offers coming soon from Uplevel Dairy straight in your inbox. To listen to more episodes, head over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube, and don't forget to rate and review. Connect with me, Peggy at upleveldairy.com, and follow Uplevel Dairy on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.